So here we are in a slightly different scene from the past videos. Those were taken right after the event had ended. Here we are, Chuck and I, back in the hotel room, enjoying adult beverages.
Yes.
After an accomplished weekend.
Agreed.
Need to kick back and relax before we drive at 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow.
Yes, and it's just a few hours away, but it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the fact that we're drinking adult beverages does not imply in any way, shape, or form that we are considered to be adults. From an age perspective, perhaps.
Yeah. Okay. So.
And by the way, these are the first ones. We're just that tired.
Yeah, it has been a long weekend, and it's interesting. Literally, this entire weekend, I've had to be on the ball for everything because not only presenting, of course, you're presenting as well, but making sure everything's running with the event, everybody's staying happy and all that. Yeah. And I'm entirely on my game the entire time, like not tired, just there. But after the event was over, then it's downhill from there. Like my body was prepped to go. After that, yeah.
Well, we just had a really cool dinner with a bunch of people, all the presenters, and Logan, Bud, Garen, and myself.
And half the attendees.
Yeah, half the attendees. Yeah. And it's like, we're sitting across from each other and we're just kind of like going, this is cool, but it's going to be really nice to just go home, I guess. And this is a step on that way. I mean, it was totally cool hanging out with everybody, but it was like, man, okay, we're done now, we can relax a little.
But we want to make sure to get this one video for you to talk a little bit about the event like you saw me do with Bud and Garen and all that. So, Chuck, maybe you talk about what were your expectations coming into the event and how did it pan out? How did you like it all? It's a big question.
Yeah, it was a big question, but here's the really interesting thing. I got your emails, and I didn't look at any of the videos. Because I just kind of went, right, we had discussed so many times what was going on, what different, and I talked to you all the time, I talked to Bud all the time. I didn't know Garen, and I just had heard the conversations, you heard the conversation, Jesus, the conversations we had, you told me a bit about it, I thought.
I tried to describe what Garen was going to show.
And so my expectation level was like really, really super high because the stuff that we do, I know is going to be really good. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, you know what? The hell with it. I'm just going to go and just be prepared to be amazed, And it started off with you. Mm-hmm. And it was like, by the way, don't you ever say that I don't teach you something. I had no idea what you were going to talk about. That was really cool. I mean, we get to the end of it, I'm just like going, wow, I have to talk after that? Okay, no worries there.
And I have to say, having talked to you a whole bunch, I know it got a foundation in the mobility. Huge. Obviously, we filmed the course together, but I was excited to get to more of the advanced stuff because I'm not familiar. The visual stuff that you shared, I've never seen that before, and I'm very intrigued to start testing it out. You gave the drills the steps, and it's really actually pretty simple stuff to do once you know how to do it, and then to actually see the results that can come from that. Oh, yeah. It's fascinating.
Well, and when we do the product on the visual system, that's what's going to be fantastic because the stuff that I was incredibly bright, like half of my stuff is still sitting in my house like 8 hours or 10 hours away from here. So I had to kind of wing it on some of the charts. Yeah. But in the product that we actually do, the charts will be on PDFs and you'll be able to print them out as you go. And it's just...
but you really get more than enough for people to get started.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's a really good... With the amount of time that I had to present the really advanced stuff, they have enough guidance to be able to do it successfully, without running into a problem.
Yeah. And something people were saying when I was interviewing them afterward was the way you presented mobility was an entirely different way than they had heard it before. And a lot of people had some understanding of mobility before, but how you delivered it. And I think one of the major points that came across, at least something I got from it, and I heard other people saying the same thing, was really instead of just doing like the whole mobility, like a follow along, going through all the drills head to toe, but do a drill, test it out, see if it's actually affecting what you do. Yeah. And that's an entirely different way than I see anyone actually doing it.
Yeah. I mean, that's funny because it's like the one gentleman who had a couple of issues, we had both spoken to quite a bit, and I just can't remember his name, and the guy was just a cool guy. I forget names, by the way, almost instantaneously. Ben, okay. Cool.
I'm good with names.
Yeah, and Ben was a totally cool guy. I mean, he and his lady friend were fantastic. And when I said to him, I said, he was talking about his knee, and I said, well, what's wrong? And he goes, well, there's a block. I said, whoa, stop, does it hurt? And he goes, well, no, it just makes a noise. And I said, well, if you keep wanting it to hurt, it probably will eventually. Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, my doctor said. I said, stop, it's your knee, it's your body, you get to make the rules, man. And he just kind of went, really? And I went, sure. Who's going to tell you otherwise, man? You know? And it was like, but I mean, it's like, that's my outlook on that, which is why I absolutely avoid at all costs studying structure. Mm-hmm. I mean, and going and talking about other presenters like Darren, you know, well, I think I have a joint right there, so I do.
That's
really trippy.
Yeah, and then seeing the effects of that.
Well, and then seeing him go like this, and it's like, it looks like he has a joint right there.
Yeah.
Wow, I bet I can do that. I mean, and then I had lunch with him yesterday, and it was like nonstop, just, and you do this, and it's like, whoa, that is fantastic stuff.
And that's, I mean, what we really set out to do with this course. We're bringing in high-level people, myself, Chuck, Bud, and Garen, all very different backgrounds, although we're all playing in the strength field in some degree, but we're able to bring all these high-level stuff and give it to people, and it's all different yet all the same, and all there to help people achieve peak performance. Yeah. And talk about just, you know, seeing the people setting PR after PR.
Well, and it's
yourself included with your
absolutely
world record.
Yeah. I mean, just may I brag for a moment?
You may.
Oh, I may. I love brag. Okay, so there was a world record out there, 10 decks, unassisted. Okay, you know, for example, John Brookfield, his records.
Hey, you know what we'll do? We'll splice in the clip. So here is Chuck's world record attempt. And success.
Enjoy. This is really quiet.
You can do this.
Okay, everybody ready?
Yeah.
And
all right,
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, Chuck.
Nice. Wow.
Easy.
Come on.
Easy.
Keep it up.
Easy.
Come on, you got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. You got it.
No thought.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
20 seconds. Go.
Yeah.
Going.
I might run out of cards.
Oh yeah.
Go. Keep going.
There we go, yeah. You got it.
Let's go. Come on.
Nice.
Come on, faster.
There you go.
Easy. You got it. Come on now. Let's keep going. Go.
Keep
Let's
going.
go.
Nice.
You got it. Fine. Keep going. 56.
Come on.
Keep going. Keep doing it anyway. Come on.
Finish him up. Let's go. Fast to the end. Come on. Almost there.
Yeah, Chuck. Come on. Go. Good stuff. 30 decks, 1 minute 16. 10 decks in 20 seconds.
Did you come? 10 decks in 20?
20 seconds.
Bam!
Okay, so what's cool is John Brookfield, who I consider to be a friend, you know, he holds the 50 deck and the 100 deck world record. Bear in mind, when you hear his time versus my time, he just creams me, right? I mean, just kills me. Not to say anything disrespectful or detract, but to be accurate, his are assisted. In other words, somebody's handing him the decks of cards.
So
which speeds it up.
he's just going.
And somebody's going like this.
Yeah, basically.
And that's straight up. That's a different type of a record. Mine is unassisted. I have to pick up the card, then position it in my hands, and I'm tearing it vertically. And there's a wrap of duct tape around it that I tear through. Okay. And the previous 10 deck unassisted world record wasn't vertical, and there was no duct tape. The duct tape, by the way, makes it a lot harder. And if you don't think it does, try it, please.
And vertical is much harder. Like I've torn cards, and Chuck's like, "Oh, you try vertically," and I tried. I was successful. It was a struggle.
Oh, dude, you can kill a deck and a half too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is world class. A deck and a half is world class. Okay. There's very few people who can bust a deck and a half. Okay. And it's hard.
Yeah.
Now I just happen to be good at it because I practiced at it so much. But the unassisted 10 deck world record was 46 seconds. September 25th, I did 10 decks unassisted in 28.9. Or, no, excuse me, 29.8. I'm sorry, transpose numbers.
Just
29.
under 30 seconds.
Just under 30 seconds. And when I was here, I knew with all the energy that we had, it was like I was going, man, I bet I could do 25. You know, because if you've seen the first video of me doing it, I was just terrible on the first 3 decks. So Bud goes, well, hey, man, what you got to do is do a 1-minute record. So I went, well, geez, how many cards am I going to turn in a minute? So I was going to put 20 up there, and he's like, oh, no, dude, you got to do 30. And I'm going, wow, okay, cool. So I zipped through 10, and I didn't really think it was that fast. I'm halfway through the second 10, and I'm going, what was my time in the first 10? He goes, 20 seconds. I almost stopped. I was like, really? Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I could see that look of like,
Like-
amazement.
Whoa, that was, I mean, I thought it was going to take me a year to get to 20 seconds, you know, so now, as we're never satisfied with anything.
Yeah,
although-
you're thinking like, hey, I could get 25 seconds.
Yeah.
You're thinking like just incrementally down.
Yeah.
You cut your time into 2/3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like, so now I'm looking and going, well, I know I was slow doing this and this and this. I'm thinking 15. 15 would be cool. But anyway, the thing is, I'm very good at tearing cards, specifically the way that I do that, and the energy that was in our group and in the room. And when you see the video, as you've seen the video now at this point in time, I was clearly nervous. I couldn't have done that at my house like I did the first one. It probably would have been 27 seconds or something like that. You gotta be here to understand what the difference is, because I am a professional strongman. This is not a hobby for me. This is really what I do for a living. And I am that influenced that much by this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the techniques that we did. Now, being fair, I didn't employ them on my world record because I'm so ingrained in what I do, it would have messed me up to think about it.
Yeah.
I can tell you straight up, I'm going to be doing this for about 2 or 3 months of all the stuff that I have learned, and then
You'll be tearing through 2 decks that quick.
that's the whole thing. Because I was almost going to go for 2 today, because I'm thinking, oh, yeah, there's 2 in here today, and I thought, you know what, I'll wait a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting just people hitting PR after PR in the first night,
Yes.
Friday evening. I'm coaching people just to change their mental programming, their energetic programming on how to do things. And I was just coaching people, seeing them do it. Then after the session, you know, I hadn't done anything myself actually. So I just, there's a pair of rings there, I get in up and go into a back lever, straight leg, everything, hold it for 10 seconds.
Boom.
Best time I've ever done.
Dude, I thought you had stroked out, and you were like in rigor. Okay, because I was like going,
Like my previous best on that is 6, maybe 7 seconds, and then I hit 10, and that was actually not that hard.
I was gonna say it did that. You could have done more than that.
I could have, yeah.
Yeah, but
But that was
That's okay.
already a PR.
oh, it was him. And then what did Melody do?
Melody, we.
Sarah deadlift.
Her deadlift,
Well, let's do 2 things: the dead and then the.
she deadlifted 225, which she had done before.
Okay.
She couldn't quite pull the 240 off, you know, doesn't work. It's not 100% flawless, the techniques we did.
Now, if you don't know Melody, here's what you have to understand.
She's about bucko 5.
I think she's $1.05. Yeah, she's maybe 105 pounds. If you put a couple of weights in her pocket and you spray her down with a garden hose, okay, she's, and then she.
And the fact that of the workshops me and Bud have done together, she's been to 4 of 4.
Yeah. She's fantastic.
2/3
Yeah.
of the people coming to our workshops are repeat attendees. That speaks to the quality of the information. Specifically, I remember Bobby saying like, "There's no one on the planet teaching what you guys teach."
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why we do it.
Well, a thing that's really important. Well, I want to say the other thing about Melody though. Okay, so then she presses a 24.
Yeah.
Okay, she presses 53 or 53 pounds. That's more than half her body weight. Okay, and then she comes up and she gives me a hug. She said, "Hey, I gotta have a picture with you." So I go, okay, so I put my arm around her, and she's not as big as I am. come on, she weighs less than half of me, right? So I kind of put my arm around her like this, and all of a sudden I feel like this vice around my legs, and she picks me up and puts me kind of on her shoulder, and I'm like going, whoa,
We
this
should
is...
probably get that picture and splice it in as well.
Yeah, we gotta put that one there. This is like, I was really surprised. I wasn't surprised that she could pick me up. I was surprised that she clamped, it was like that, and picked me up, and I went, whoa, that is fantastic. One of the things that's so different about what we do, that was all serious, but I'm being, I'm being business-wise serious at this point in time. I mean, because that was fantastic. That was no joke what she did. Our system, if you will, is improvement. That's our system. Mm-hmm. It's not a implement that we've came up with that we decide that you're going to be able to fix everything in the world and cure world hunger and peace and all sorts of things like that.
It's not a set program
Yeah.
you need to do.
And every workshop we do is different, okay? Because we're human guinea pigs on our own, and as we progress and learn, we're teaching you what we're doing.
Yeah, everything I taught at this work, almost everything, but it's literally stuff that I've been practicing with myself and actually came up with in the past couple months, and it's led to some huge breakthroughs. I couldn't be happier with this workshop, honestly.
Absolutely.
I could not be happier, and the fact that you guys can pick up these DVDs, you absolutely should. I said this before in one of the other interviews. If you don't, most people don't know much about mental training. They think along the lines, there's mental toughness, you just got to try hard. That's not what this is about.
No.
Important at some times, but not what it's about. Visualization, they think about that. People are saying the stuff I taught was so far beyond visualization as it's standardly taught that it's not even close. Like, I wouldn't even call it visualization, it's like mental reprogramming. This stuff will give you such a base in mental training, in different techniques, different things, and we give 4 different instructions, different things may work better for you.
Yeah.
And there's so much information there that you're going to be, just by watching these alone, by studying and putting them into practice, so much higher.
Yeah.
Head and shoulders above what anyone else out there is doing.
I mean, look at it this way, and I mean...
Short of us.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple things is... The 4 of us come from really different backgrounds, and we're all world-class levels in strength, okay, and instruction. We're all really, really good at different things. We pick the things that we like to do and that we happen to do well, and that's, we talked a lot about genetics today, and it was really kind of funny because people place so much on that, and it's like, that's crap, okay, let's just be simple about it. That matters that much, okay, it's what you have here and here, and here that makes your big difference, but you gotta get the videos to see all that cool. It's really cool
Yeah,
stuff.
that was specifically, and after we had all taught our own individual things, all 4 of us up front in the and answering questions with the obvious, just riffing on each other, and that was probably like 2 hours.
Oh my God, that
there
was
some really cool stuff in there. I can't wait to listen to it myself.
Oh, and you know the thing was, we all end up at the same place, okay? But we all dig in different parts of the same sandbox to get there. And why you need to come here is you're going to find 50 different ways to get to do what you want to do. If you go to a Olympic lifting course, or you go to a kettlebell course, or you go to a mobility course, or things like that, you're going to find one way that they're going to tell you is the way to do it. We're giving you the opportunity to experiment on your own with world-class instruction to figure out how to make it work for you. Because what Logan does to train, and we're good friends, and we talk all the time, his training protocols do not work 80% wise for me. And if he did what I did, he wouldn't be the guy he is. Well, we're 98% the same. The 2% is the difference where you have to exercise your freedom and your choice and figure out for yourself what really works for you.
And it was interesting what you're saying about those other things, like Olympic lifting certification or kettlebells or whatnot. You take all this, really what we taught here, we didn't really go much into technique, tiny bit here and there, but it wasn't about how do you actually do the exercises. Important stuff, but that's a dime a dozen. You can find that anywhere, and you can actually get pretty good instruction in a lot of places.
Yeah.
You get that. What you need is this stuff on top. This is sort of it's the meta level of that. That when you can plug this stuff in, you can achieve so much more with this. And you take this, put it in yourself, and that's what's going to allow you to reach an elite level or really go as far as you choose to do.
Yeah.
These are sort of the missing keys that people aren't even aware of.
Yeah.
How they can get out of pain, how they can literally, with as simple as changing the location of their mental image,
Yes.
they can instantly double what they can do in
Oh.
exercise.
Absolutely.
And yeah, there's so much more than that.
Yeah, it's this was supposed to run like 2 minutes. So obviously, we're way past it because we're having way too. Because now that we're talking about it, we're getting really excited about it again. It's
I'm not tired anymore.
yeah, no, I'm really not either. You know? It's what ends up happening with these things is, and especially the instructors, we all play off each other as we're going and going. God, that's really cool, and that influences if I'm going up next. It's like, wow, that's cool. I'm still saying the same thing I was going to say to begin with, but I'm saying it a little bit differently than I would have been. Mm-hmm. The other key thing about this, when you go to certification XYZ, I'm not going to pick on other people, okay? You're getting a bunch of guys who have spent a bunch of time getting reasonably good at that skill. How often do you go to a certification where you have 4 instructors, that all the instructors are not arguably either reigning world record holders or not arguably absolute world class? Period. Not open for discussion. Absolutely no doubt. Now, if you can give me an answer about it, then go see them. But there's not going to be 4 of them at the same place.
Yeah, it was in some ways difficult to get, to be able to deliver all the information we wanted to. I mean, each one of us could have taught the whole weekend.
Oh my God, we could have all talked for 4 or 5
But
days.
by just giving people, I mean, really, there's more than enough. I mean, there's so many things. There really was tons and tons of stuff that, you can spend months practicing like one thing alone, and you ought to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You get this DVD course. I mean, people are overloaded this weekend, but you take some time, spend a couple months just working with my stuff, spend a couple months working on Chuck's stuff, and then, once you have that solid foundation there, you can start, bringing them together in certain ways, then add on the next component. However, whatever speaks to you most out of this, for some people, they're really going to like the mobility work, and that's going to be the missing key that they need.
Yes.
For other people, just seeing Garen's stuff and just being amazed.
Oh my God.
I can't tell you the number of times people said, "Whoa, wow, amazed." I can't even put it. If that really fits you and that speaks to you, and after you see it, I think you'll understand why that is a completely untapped and unique way of looking at doing anything, really. I mean, the applications, what we're talking about, strength, speed, martial arts, but it is applicable to so much more.
It's Logan, Bud, Garen, myself. Here's what you really have to understand about what we're doing. Are you going to get stronger? Yeah. Are you going to run faster, jump higher, do all those kind of cliche things? We're talking about, though, and this is getting kind of weird, for stuff like this, because people come to here and go, okay, I'm going to get stronger. These guys are all strong. Yeah, but we've also went through a lot of things in life, and a lot of us started training, and there's a lot of systems that rely upon anger, for example, and things like that. Some of us have went through that and came all the way back around to where, no, we're happy when we train, and that's really, really where we've done it. You're going to get a lot of life experience when you come here, and I don't mean that in a weird way that I'm going to tell you what to believe in or not what to believe in, but I'm just going to tell you this. It's a very soothing thing to the soul. Is that a fair way of saying it?
It's an interesting way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like this was some self-help rah-rah.
And this wasn't a religious thing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about in here, everybody was going, God, I just feel
I mean, people are saying literally this is a life-changing event.
Yeah,
I've
totally.
not got that before from the events I put on.
Yeah.
So that's a having put all this work into that feels good.
Well, I mean, when somebody comes to you and says, my God, you just changed my life. I thought that I was going to have to deal with this pain for the rest of my life, and I don't have it now. I just talked to you for 5 minutes. What would happen if I did this? And I said, what would happen if you did it for 5 minutes 3 times a week?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've only had it for 5 minutes right now. And this is easy stuff, okay? There's plenty of systems out there that people overcomplicate the stuffing out of it to make themselves seem super smart. Look, we're not saying we're incredibly smart. We're saying we're incredibly good. Okay,
Yeah,
and
we're
we're going to
smart.
keep it simple. Yeah, we're smart. But we make it simple to where you can really do it and really get measurable results.
Honestly, like nothing was overcomplicated. It was funny, last night you were describing the visual system,
Yeah.
and I was, starting to fall asleep, and my mind couldn't understand what you're saying. But no, it's just like you're talking about boxes and stars, and I'm like, what's going on? I kind of tuned out and just stopped listening after a while. But I was polite. But when you showed us today, when I could actually see the visual and get it, I was like, wow, that's really cool and completely. I've never seen anything like that before. I can see how that could help in so many different ways. So I'm looking forward. I actually got the sheet, and I'm prepared to do that when I get home.
Exactly. And for the record, Logan and I have been roomies the entire time, right? And he is the consummate gentleman, because it took him about 4 times of saying good night, Chuck, before I got the hint of going, okay, he probably wants to go to sleep at this point. And I was kind of wired up thinking about it, and I couldn't sleep, so. But
you and I were both, getting up at night to write notes.
so you hear this thing, you go like that, and it's like, okay, he's got his laptop up and he's writing, and then about an hour and a half later, I go, oh my God, I got to write this down right now. It's like what you're going to say, and then you think of something, and
well, it was a really dynamic event, and especially when you had the group thing. You saw I started with that how can I frame everything that we've learned, all these widely different things that we had, and how can they put a frame on that so you can maybe understand it better and see the connections between them and how things interact with each other, and how when you enter in from one angle, why that results in these changes. When you enter in from this other angle, once again you get the same sort of changes.
You know what, I was busy, and I could kind of see the testimonials. I have no idea what they said, but I mean, what I got from, I spoke with everybody there, quite, we all did. The one thing here, look, there's no favorites here. Okay, well actually that's not true. You're all favorites. And that's no joke. There's 4 of us here, and the instructor to student ratio is incredibly high. And we want you to be satisfied. We insist, actually, that we do everything we can do to make you satisfied. And what was funny is people weren't having an issue with going, because you go to some certifications where you have a couple of instructors, and they're saying contradictory things. Okay. Please understand, we didn't rehearse any of this. He did not know what I was going to talk. He knew in general terms what I was going to talk about. I had no idea what you were going to talk about. You're the dude, right? I didn't know what Bud was going to talk about. In general terms, I knew. But we all sat there and we went through the thing, and everybody was like, going, man, okay, so what Logan's talking about is this, and what you're talking about is this, and what Bud is doing is this, and what Garen is doing is this. And it's not like a bunch of discrete points, it's like a nice circle. And it all works. Because, again, we're all at about the same point, and we went different ways to get there based on what works for us.
It's not like if you take kettlebells, the RKC style swing versus the GS, and I'm saying like, oh no, these are both the only ways to do it.
Yeah.
Here we're saying like these are all different great ways to achieve the same result, and work with them, find what works for you, and you'll be getting those results.
Totally, and the thing is, in any systems that you guys see out there that are driven on an implement, in the kettlebell world, it's really an implement-driven system typically, or an ideas type system to where they're going, well, you need to do this many sets of this and this and this and this and this. Well, okay, number one, take a look at the so-called founders of the system, if you would. Okay, all of us are really healthy. Okay, I've got some back issues. I don't make any bones about that. I had those back issues from when I was 15 or 16 years old. If you want to race, let's race. Okay, I move pretty good. Okay, so we're all really healthy and we move really well, and we practice what we preach. Start taking a look at the other founders of the other systems and see how well they move, and do you want to look like that?
Yeah, that is a big thing
Yeah.
to look at.
I mean, their bank accounts are really good for them, but you know, I'd rather be healthy. I mean, healthy and wealthy is good, but if you have a choice between the two, I'd rather be healthy.
Yeah. But let's go for both.
Let's go for both. Going for both is good. Yes.
And
yes.
very, very strong at the same time.
And very strong. And the thing about it is, the same principles in business are the same principles in how you build strength, or how you move well, or how you do mental imaging well, or how you do energy work well, or how you build incredibly insane strength endurance and brute strength. We have to mention this thing that Bud did, though. Bud set a world record last night. Okay? And there's going to be people out there that go, well, did he lock out his elbow? Okay? When your arms are as huge as him, it looks a little bit different than when he locks out his elbow, as opposed to my massive arms. Okay? When I lock out my elbow, it's pretty obvious because I don't have any biceps and I don't really have any arms at all, right? Okay? You're talking about a guy who's taken 50 some odd pounds and he's pushing it up so hard and he's pulling it down
to the point where the kettlebell is floating and
Yes.
banging on
Okay.
his arm on the way down, which I've never seen that effect before.
It's going bottoms up basically because he's pulling it down and it's slamming into his arm so hard that my forearms hurt. And what did he bust out? 100 reps in 97 seconds?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And by the way, that wasn't the only thing he did that day. And then he did a bunch of insane stuff after that.
Yeah. It was a fun night, and you know, just this showing of the world records and everything. A lot of those will be available on YouTube if they're not all included in these videos. We'll probably splice that one into. Why not?
Absolutely.
3, 2, 1, go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50,
Halfway, so you gotta go. You got this.
53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60.
Good job, man. Keep going.
You got it. 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70.
Nice.
Turn it
Right. 71, 72, 73,
Getting faster.
74, 75, 76,
Less.
77, 78, 79, 80,
Let's
Come on, come on, let's go, let's go.
84, 85, 86,
Faster.
87, 88, 89, 90.
Come on, last day.
Go, go, go.
92,
93, 94,
Got it.
95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100.
100.
How fast?
137. There's a lot of fun stuff. And
Absolutely.
it was the energy of the room. It was really bringing together the different things we've been working on, and it showcases, you know, the work that we all do, and how we use the techniques and do all this stuff for ourselves. So if you want this level of success, learn how we do it, and really, you know, the physical thing, it's important, but like I said, that can be found in so many places depending on what you want to do. The mental aspect, and really making sure that you're pain free. And actually, I meant to get to this in the thing, but we actually detailed things that could be helpful in pain in any way. The mobility, obviously, but actually playing around with the mental program I was talking about, that can be used exactly specifically. I mean, that was one way I fixed my wrist that was chronically in pain for a long time. And then Garen showing how he used it, which was completely different than any other healing modality I've ever seen before, which was very interesting. And they all work So not only is this about strength, but healing as well.
Oh, it's the one thing about Garen too, and I told him this like 19 times. I'm sure he was probably, I don't think he was talking to Garen, but he could have been. Sorry, Garen. When he was doing the traditional stuff, my spine was going, oh God, that hurts. I'm watching this and it's making me feel uncomfortable. And when he started doing the energy, it's like I went, God, I feel really good right now.
And you know what? Chuck's not doing it justice here.
No, I'm really not.
Not even close to that. You
Close
gotta,
with that, yeah.
You got to see Garen in action for that
You gotta
because
see
he
it.
actually really his stuff. Let's not say may seem out there. It is out there. It is completely different from anything you've ever seen. But until you
Yes.
start actually trying it and applying it for yourself, you see the effects of it and realize that it's a skill that needs to be practiced and ingrained into you so you can be actually applying it when you're working on strength skills.
Yeah.
Then after you've done all that, then come talk to me and say that, you know, it looks weird. Sounds
Well,
weird.
one thing about Logan too, I got to say this, is the visualization stuff he does. Now, bear in mind, I have a vivid imagination. When I read a book, I'm in whatever environment it is they say. If
We're
I'm
talking about
cold,
Siberia.
yeah, okay. I mean, I'm reading a book that is World War II Algiers right now, and it's like 100 and whatever degrees. It's hot. This room is cold for me. I'm reading the book and I'm perspiring. Okay, so I'm pretty sensitive, you know, as far as that kind of stuff. He's doing this visualization thing about Siberia, and I'm starting to get goosebumps, and I'm going. But what he was doing was the thing. If you just say Siberia, I'll go, oh, very great. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm an idiot, okay? But what he was doing, the visualization stuff, and I allowed myself, because I trust him, and this is the thing you have to do. You determine what we can teach you.
Mm-hmm.
All we can teach you is what you allow us to. Well, I trust him implicitly. So I was doing exactly what he said to do. By the way, he was 50 feet away from me. Okay, it wasn't like he was touching me. And I was seated and I was doing this and I was going, okay, like this. And I started going, oh, for God's sakes, it's cold in here. And there was literally a couple of people that put on sweaters. And then he started going, and Cabo, and I'm going, oh, thank God for that, man. Now I'm nice and warm. And it was fantastic.
Well, that just shows how what you picture, what you are visualizing can just so easily affect your physiology.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we went so many steps beyond that. I mean,
Oh.
I was actually talking about the content of visualization, whereas we
How big and how
deep
bright
context.
and, you know.
And that brought to mind that really the stuff we taught, in large part, and pretty much everything, may be outside your paradigm. And to really
Yeah.
grasp it, your paradigm will have to shift. Some people will be ready for this stuff. Other people will absolutely not and just, you know, call BS on it, which is unfortunate for them because they're not going to then be able to get the results from it that are possible.
Yeah.
Your paradigm does need to shift, and then it really comes down to the fact that basically with what you believe is the sort of results you're going to get. So if you can actually start utilizing these techniques, which do work, we showed over and over that they actually are working for lots of people there. I mean, I was batting like a 95% success rate on the drills I taught in the first night. Actually, probably more than that.
Yeah, when we say that we're proving it, we're not doing it. You have to understand, people that had no idea what we were going to talk about until right then, okay, were making huge PRs, huge gains.
There was some massive.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see it. That'll probably be a clip on there, but Marty's fingertip push-up.
Oh my
that,
God.
That was such a clear difference. Not only did he double the reps right there, which is actually, you know, his previous best was 2, which was what he did before.
Yeah.
Then he busts out 4. They were smoother.
Yeah.
They were in better control. He actually could have done more than that. He actually lost balance at the top on that one because he shot himself up so fast.
Faster than he was accustomed to.
It was
Yeah.
out of this world
Yeah.
just seeing the results people got off these simple drills. But some people, a lot of people aren't going to try them because it's outside of their paradigm. They just want to lift iron, and you know, that's okay. If you want average results, keep doing average things.
Absolutely. And by the way, no disrespect intended, but when our athletes meet your athletes, okay, it's cool.
Yeah.
By the way, what Monty was doing was a thumb and index finger handstand, well,
Handstand push-ups
index
on these
finger,
two,
on these 2 fingers he's
4
doing.
fingers.
Okay,
Cool.
and his first 2 were wobbly as all get. Okay, look, I can't do them. I'm not being critical of them.
I don't think most people watching these can do it. I mean, Marty is a great athlete, and he's actually been training and doing our stuff for some time. The truth is, he only really started getting big into training not that long ago. He's made very fast results. But a large part of that is because Marty, and he has an attitude for it, but he is... Okay,
Cheers.
we are back. We had the battery ran out on the camera. We had no intention of going as long as we did. Had to go downstairs to get the card and get the charger there. But we wanted to make sure to finish up the interview, not just leave in the middle halfway through a story. So you're talking about Marty's shaky first 2 reps. And we were having a good time when we walked down there.
We were having. There's a joke that you will not be privy to. But anyway, we both got stupid.
Unless you pick up the DVDs.
Exactly. If you get it, then you get it. Okay, so being serious, comrade, she said we had technical difficulties. Do we want to start over?
No, let's keep going.
Okay, so.
Can you get it together now?
Yes, I can. I need a little bit of help from my cranberry friends. Okay,
we like to have fun at our workshops.
Yes. The work is over. Now it's playtime.
Yeah, it was playtime the whole weekend, though.
It really was. It really was.
A lot of work, but playtime.
Yes. So, Marty, when he was doing, the handstand push-ups, which you can't say hands, but I mean it's better than saying forefinger and thumb. Huge amount of stress. Clearly a maximal thing. Shaking. I mean, anybody's ever done a maximal lift knows what it's like. Everything's shaking. Nothing's really stable. You're fighting to stay alive, basically. He does 2 reps. His mental toughness just tells you why he did 2, because any other human being wouldn't have even done 1. Much less grind out 1 and then go, all right, I'll do this again, dude. It's like, whoa, okay, you could stroke or all sorts of things, right? Because, this is a huge strain. I'm really not, the stroke was a joke, but what I'm saying is it was a absolute 100% strain. I'm not one of those guys that are going to say 110% because I think that's crap. If you say that, you've never done 100%, okay? So, Logan does some stuff with him, and I'm not going to even try and explain what the hell it was, okay? But it was some other stuff that Logan does, and
that's the value of the DVDs, by the way. You can rewind and rewind. There's no way everyone got everything I put in there because there's a lot going on in just a minute worth of time, and it needs to be studied to really be understood so that you can apply it and actually then build from it.
Absolutely. Okay, so he goes through a really brief. How long would you say it?
It might have been close to 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. So the guy does something that is superhuman, okay? Turns around and busts out 4 reps about as easy as I do a push-up on the floor. By the way, I can do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds without breaking a sweat. Okay, so that's a stupidly easy exercise. It's like, do you stress out if you take a t-shirt off a hanger? Okay, that's how hard it was for him. And he hits 4, and it's like this. Okay, no joke. Watch on the video.
Yeah.
Now, that is sick.
I was impressed by the results and the different, with everyone that was getting there. Yeah. I've been doing it a lot myself. I tell a couple people to practice with it, but seeing the results here in the workshop, it was just huge. And what was actually really interesting, you mentioned the mental toughness, that's part of it, but he actually already had, submodality is a big word you may not be familiar with, but he had things already set up in his brain for massive success, which is why he was able to do it, but by doing the right things, we were able to access even more, and that's what doubled the effect, because he was already everything was a go, doing super good, but we were able to increase it even more.
Yeah, there's a thing that is difficult to explain unless you've really done it, because if you haven't done it, I use a really silly expression, and it's never disrespectful, but it's like trying to explain the color red to somebody who's been blind since birth. It's impossible, okay? If you have never pushed to the point that you don't care if you get hurt or not, I'm not recommending this, by the way, because we're a little bit touched when you do this, okay? But there are people who have been known to try and tear decks of cards with a bunch of duct tape around them that have passed out while they were doing it. Or been short steel and fallen down and woke up and went, oh, here it is again. I was not that second guy, by the way.
Multiple pass outs in one
Yes,
attempt.
multiple pass outs in one attempt, okay.
That's toughness.
That's toughness, okay. No, it's not. It's insanity, by the way. But here's the thing: is Monty incredibly talented, incredibly tough. Superlatives coming out the wazoo, right? Okay. Here's the deal: without that, how long would it have taken him to do what he did? It could
With
have taken
Marty,
a year.
probably not a year. I'd say with Marty, a couple months, honestly, of training. And with he may not be able to get right back to it again right away without doing a similar sort of process, but he may be just that. That's his new set level. It'll be interesting to see the results on that.
Well, and there's a weird thing about this whole deal too. Is
But that, you know, even, let's say 2 months of practice versus 2 minutes. What would you rather have
What?
for doubling your results and actually
Doubling
them while making it easier to double them?
doubling your number and making a 2 or 3 magnitude difference in the quality of the movement. I mean, you got to see the video. I mean,
And mind you, this was actually, I mean, this was from one set to the next, a couple minutes of rest. But you know, if that was shaky, that much of a max attempt, he had done 2 reps before.
Yeah.
Then he doubles it.
well, I mean, come on, he'd had an hour's worth of rest prior to that. I mean, so it wasn't like the rest time had really had anything to do with it. It was what you showed him how to unlock in his head. I mean, let me give you an example of something. Our good friend Bud Jeffries. When the first I started talking about doing the 10 record tear and breaking the record, the problem I was having was I tear vertically. Okay, if you've never tried it, it's really cool, right? The problem is you don't have a lot of room to stabilize the cards. I mean, it's, you know, when you tear like this, things can be splayed all over. I mean, that's not and it's not disrespectful. I'm just saying it's different. I mean, this way you have to be really, really precise because a deck of cards is 2 3/8 wide. It's 3.5 inches long. So most people are grabbing a 3.5 inch and they're tearing 2 3/8. So to give you an idea of something, if you tear horizontally, when you do 10 decks, you're tearing, what, under 24 inches, 23 3/4. By the way, I tore 35 inches. Okay, it's a huge difference. So Bud goes, well, you're having a problem stabilizing, and then the amount of pressure that you put on it per square inch is huge, and they start sticking to your hand. I mean, dude, like they're glued to your finger. I mean, you go like this, which kills you in time. So Bud goes, well, why don't you just wrap a duct tape around it? And I went, well, hell, why stop there? Why don't you just wrap a Kevlar around it? You know, I mean, duct tape is tough stuff, man.
Makes it
NASCAR
harder.
dudes do it. They call it 200-mile-an-hour tape. Okay, that's not like Scotch tape. It took me about 3 months to get to where I felt comfortable that I could figure out how to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, after talking with him and talking with Bud and going through a couple of different things and looking at it differently. Now they didn't give me specific advice on how to do it differently, but their conversations that we had, because when we talk about 2 things generally. We talk about things that we're having success with, and we talk about things that we're not having success with. Now we're all personal friends, so we have these conversations. You guys will never be privy to, but you get the results of what we do in these workshops, right? Well, I figured out the point that I can actually tear it faster with tape. Okay, I changed my technique to take advantage of it, but now I'm really fast at it. 20 seconds though, that's like, you went 46 seconds and I brought it down to, let's call it 30. It's beating a world record pretty bad. I mean, that's like Usain Bolt is whatever he is. I mean, I can't remember the number. I know it's like in the 9s, but just say to make it easy on me, it's like if he ran at 10, the first time I did it, I ran at 7. Now I just ran at like 4 or something like that. I mean, you know what I mean? You're talking about a world record that broke that much, and yes, it's because of the stuff that we taught here. Okay, now, you heard me earlier say I didn't know what they were going to teach. Well, we talk all the time. I didn't know specifically what you're going to teach, but I mean, the visualization and just the different things like that that help to deal with stress. Because, by the way, when you're in front of like 25 of your peers, and, you know, 3 or 4 of them are literally your peers, the rest of them are students that are looking up to you going, oh, this is the dude, man, he's going to kill it. And you walk up and it's like, man, I've set all these records in my garage with my wife looking at me. That's Logan, who didn't shut his phone off when he was.
And we're good to go. Bringing it to you live. Here
Bring
from
you live, baby.
the La Quinta Inn in San Diego.
Exactly. So what the point is we're world class and killed a world record like that. So does that mean you have to be world class to take advantage of it? Absolutely not even remotely
Everyone
close.
there, we had a lot of people there. A lot of our students are pretty high level, like we were just talking
Sure.
about. Melody, phenomenal athlete.
Yeah.
We had some new people there, and sorry.
And by the way, while he's gone, I'm going to talk a little bit of smack about him. Oh wait, he's back. I can't do it anymore.
I'll bring that here in case that. We had some people that really knew to exercise and they were getting the same sort of results. I mean, everyone knows if people are new to something, it's really easy to pick up things
Sure.
and pick up ability quite quickly. Still, actually, in some cases, even more so, like having this thing and getting that as a foundation for what you
Oh
can
my
do.
God.
Imagine if you started.
If we
with
would've
this
started that
scholarship.
way, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, okay,
That would've been nice.
Oh man.
If we didn't have to develop it ourselves and
Yeah. I mean-
train under high-level people or
Yeah.
anything to get it, it'd be very nice. So, advanced people, no one on the planet has a lot of this stuff. Some people have some things you can find in certain areas.
Bits and pieces.
It hasn't been, but really, as it was delivered here, never been covered before.
Yeah.
Never will be covered again the same way at all. You have the opportunity here, if you're already advanced trainee, this will allow you to access an even more elite
Yeah.
level. If you're just starting out, same thing. It's going to set you up for massive success from the get-go.
Interesting thing, Bud and I had this conversation earlier, and I can't remember if you listened to it or not. Okay,
Had
we're
a lot
sitting
of
at a table,
conversations
there's
as
a
we
million
did.
people talking, right? So we're all, everybody talks about foundation. You got to build your foundation. Okay, that's absolutely true. Okay, but here's what my question is. If you're trying to build a house, okay, your foundation is like about that, right? What we're building, because this is going to sound fairly arrogant, and get over it. When you can hit these numbers, then you can say the same thing. What we're talking about is a foundation that we can put the World Trade Center and put another one on top of, and it's okay with that, right? Okay, we want a 200 and whatever story building. That is a much deeper commitment level, and there's much more involvement in doing that. These things, there's a funny thing in publishing that it takes, it's a kind of a joke. It takes 10 years to become an overnight success, okay? You've probably never heard of me really before. Maybe in the last year or so, okay? But it's like, look, I've been doing this for a while, okay? You're talking hundreds of thousands of this movement, okay? And trying all sorts of weird different things, and some things work, some things didn't. I've injured myself a couple of times. What you're learning how to do is, from all of us, not just me, I'm just using myself as an example because I can, we're showing you the ways to avoid the pitfalls. And if you're starting out, oh geez, you got to do this because, and I'm not going to mention what my ultimate goal is, but it's pretty cool. It's never been done. I don't know if anybody's even talked about it, and I'm going to be able to hit it within a year, okay? And it's going to be cool, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that. I am relatively, I won't say inexperienced in this field, but I haven't been doing all this stuff that long.
Yeah.
I started to get into serious training. I wouldn't even count like football and the lifting I did there because I didn't get success of any degree there. It was after high school, about 19, 20 years old, where I really started to get into exercise. I'm 27 now as of this recording. Is that right? I forget my age. Yeah, 27.
I'm game with it if you say it.
So only about 8 years, and I have achieved some massive success in different areas. Kettlebell juggling. I mean, one of
The flaming
greatest
kettlebell,
things-
dude.
What?
The flaming kettlebell.
We'll get to that. in a moment.
Okay.
The massive success in kettlebell juggling. One of the best things done is I'm pretty accomplished in a wide variety of things, doing some basic hand balancing and acrobatics, all the different feats of strength, including things like pulling a fire truck with my hair. I mean, who does that? My 301 snatches in 10 minutes with the 53 kilogram kettlebell. So
People that have hair, by the way, do that. You could have.
So just in this, I guess, short time, I mean, people talk about the 10-year rule, what you were just saying, 10 years, becoming overnight success. That can be radically amplified by the stuff that you learn.
You can accelerate it really good.
I really believe I haven't achieved nothing yet compared to what's coming in the future. And everyone at this workshop can choose to do the same thing. And everyone that gets these DVDs, this really gives you the tools above and beyond what you get from this is how you do a curl.
It's straight up. And what I was saying, okay, by the way, if you do know me at all, you'll know that you always know where you stand with me, because this just kind of spews out what I happen to think at the time. Okay, so if I didn't agree with him, I wouldn't be sitting here. Okay, let me just say this. Here's how cool. I mean, I was bad to the bone, world class, tearing cards and just ripping the crap out of them, turning $1,000 a month and doing this and this and this. My wife didn't hear this. That's a lot of money. Anyway, aside from that.
Literally, he's not exaggerating there.
That's no joke.
It's a good amount of money on cards. That he just
and it was for a really extended period of time. When I say that, I'm not talking about a month. I'm talking about like 6. We'll just leave it at that. Now that's in addition to the stuff that I've done for years, previously. And I hook up with these guys, and we really start doing some business together, and we really integrate as friends and professionals and colleagues, and really start sharing secrets. I mean, no joke. I mean, this is like hard-won information that we just don't just talk about just for giggles to people. Number one, it's got to be somebody with a commitment level that's going to go, I'm going to come down and I'm going to spend 18 hours on an airplane to get here, okay?
Yeah, you can watch this from the comfort of your own home.
Exactly, and no joke.
Which is, and rewind, there's definite benefits for being there live, and I highly recommend you come to any of our workshops you can live. Even if you just do it once, though, you'll likely want to do it more than once. Just for the experience, because one, you get private instruction from the instructors during the break time. It's not like we disappear during the breaks. We all go out to eat together. We're all hanging out together. There's extra time before and after the sessions and all that. So there are definite benefits to being there. Plus you get to experience live, do all the drills yourself. But DVDs have a huge benefit to them too. Well, you can watch it more than once. Even with the best note-taking skills, you couldn't get possibly everything we taught in this workshop. But with DVDs you can. And you can watch them from your home.
And straight up, here's the deal. When you're sitting down writing notes, I can only speak for myself, as I've already said ad nauseum. I don't ever read my notes. And when I'm writing down the notes, I'm not paying attention to the instructor, and I'm not watching. I'm not using all of my senses. You miss too much. The DVDs, you can go over a ton of times.
I taught things. I'm going to be going over the video in order to see what I did, because I'm not even sure of all the things. There was some phenomenal stuff in there, and to be able to access it again and again, to really get all the data that is available there, and then to put it into practice, and that means getting the results from it. It's wow.
Oh yeah.
Like this.
Dude, I can't wait. I mean, seriously, I can't wait.
Yeah.
You also get to hear inside information. Everybody likes to hear that. Okay, hey, I do. Okay, I'm on the inside. Okay, I dig that. Okay, you get to hear about what products we're talking about next, and you actually get to influence those to a large degree based on the questions you're asking us. Mm-hmm. Hey, what would happen if we did this, or if you did this, is it going to cover this? Or you get to influence that, and I'm going to drop a little hint. So when I hooked up with these guys, my ultimate goal was to tear 2 decks of cards vertically. Nobody in the world has ever done that. Oh wait, yes I have. I take that back. I've done it twice. Now, unfortunately, I didn't realize I was going to do it when I did it, so I haven't recorded it yet. That's okay.
I think it could probably happen in the next week.
I think that just maybe something happens real quick.
And that will be on film.
Yeah. So now what I do is I film everything I do because it just, I was like doing isometrics with it and I went, holy crap. And I went, wow, and there wasn't a camera on. So it didn't happen. So anyway, here's a funny thing, and I'm just going to say this much. Once I get 2 decks on film, vertically, no duct tape, by the way. I had somebody ask me, give me a break, dude. Really, it's like 19 million pounds of pressure on your fingers, and it's like you're bleeding under the nails and crap when you're doing that kind of stuff, okay? I probably will stop tearing cards other than just demonstrations. Mm-hmm. And I will start tearing things that cards are made of. That nobody's ever done. And that's only because of my association and relationship with what is it we're doing, and the gentlemen and the world-class athletes that are there, because they inspire me to do things that are superhuman. And I'm not trying to overuse that, okay? I'm being just very matter of fact, because one of the things that we talked about today is your and this is kind of deep, so if you get weirded out about it, then just fast forward past this, okay? Your perception of reality, you get to decide. Now, I don't mean that if the sun is up and it's sunny, that I'm not talking about that kind of crap. I don't mean that. But what is possible is that's based on what you decide. Mm-hmm. Right? So, I mean, if you think you can jump to the moon, I'm going to tell you that's probably going to be a bit of a stretch. Okay?
Get to the moon in certain ways.
Yeah, exactly. But if you think that you could take a piece of wood in your hand and tear it lengthwise, that's not out of the realm of possibility if you can tear 2 decks of cards. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to do, but you may get that. Okay. And the thing about it is, I think that's a realistic thing. Logan has pulled. I've seen the video of him pulling a fire truck with his hair. It's like, really? Now, granted, okay, I can't really appreciate that. You have to understand that, but that was cool. Now, could you do it again? Could you do it with something bigger? Sure.
If I train for it.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing about it is you're going to find, like Logan is like my idol in a lot of ways, which I've never said to him before, which is why he's probably turning red right now, is because he does all these really cool things, and he started doing this at an age that he can like bounce around. He can do juggling for a while, and he can do pressing for a while, and he can do hand balancing for a while, and he can tow fire trucks and crap with his hair, and he can move around and do all these different things. Now, the one thing we share in common, though, is he doesn't try to do like 7 things at once. He works on one thing for a while. I mean,
3
yeah,
things
you
or so.
do like 3.
It's like 2 or 3 things really focused at a time.
Yeah.
Because I do quite a bit, and
Yeah.
it's out of choice, and it's what I do. So
Sure.
yeah.
In all fairness,
you can spread yourself too
Sure.
thin, and I have done that in the past, and that's
Yes.
something you gotta not.
Yes. Now, to give you an example, I'm working on 3 feats of strength in terms of grip right now. Okay, so I'm doing hub pinching, and I'm doing rolling thunder, and I'm tearing. 1, I really focus on. 2, I start developing foundational work. The thing about it is, you can do whatever you want to do. The cool thing is, we give you the way to get there. It doesn't matter what it is.
Faster than it. I mean,
Yes,
just
way
practicing anything by itself, you can get there, unless you run into certain blocks, which we also teach you how to deal with. But this will, we talked about just the acceleration of things.
Compressing your time frame is just huge.
Avoiding injuries, fixing pain that you happen to have, which are huge things that, think about that in any strength field, that's what derails people. That's what stops them from getting their goals.
Absolutely.
So when you can, 1, avoid those in the first place, just because your body, your 1, body awareness, but 2, you're doing things right, so it doesn't occur in the first place. But then when it does occur, that
you can self-heal much faster. And when we're talking about prevention, we're not talking about things that are really beyond your control. Okay, if you're walking across the street and lightning strikes you, I can't help you with that. Okay, but what we're talking about is being aware of enough that you don't do a self-imposed injury. That's really what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that is, everybody, when we were talking about that, was going, whoa, that is fantastic. Especially people that have been hurt.
Yeah.
Because once we showed them and spoke with them, and we all did it in different ways, they were going, man, I could have saw that coming a mile ahead of
Yeah,
time.
my good friend
Yeah.
Tyler, who you'll see in the workshop DVD, he had recently, I guess that was probably almost a year ago, from a gymnastic incident,
Killed
blew out
himself.
his knee completely, ACL tear, like everything ripped out completely.
ACL, MCL,
Yeah,
meniscus,
everything.
He
But
did a world-class job of screwing it up. Sorry, go ahead.
But the truth is, he got the signal from his body, I shouldn't be doing these beforehand. He just didn't heed it, and he paid the price. So attaining that body awareness, which the stuff you taught really helps us do.
Yeah.
Also, in many ways, the stuff I did too.
Absolutely.
A different sort of kinesthetic awareness.
Yes.
But huge. I mean, that was actually the key to unlocking Marty's getting
Yes.
to there. It was, he already had really high some modalities. The visual, the auditory was in there as
Yes.
well, and kinesthetic feeling, but actually by what we did, we accessed a new feeling, and it's not something that I tried to implant into him. It was something that came naturally through the process that I taught, and it bring that, and we actually amplified that. Then from there, that he was saying afterward, like that was an entirely new feeling,
Yeah.
a sensation in the body that gave him newfound power.
Yeah, it wasn't like digging a ditch. It was like flipping a switch. By the way, I just made that up. That was not a...
Dr. Seuss.
Dr.
Over
Seuss.
here.
Is that good?
No.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying you're rhyming like him.
Oh, I'm rhyming, okay. But that's
Maybe
the
it
thing.
is, I don't know.
I don't know, man. But it's, it's like Tyler. I mean, because he's a hardcore, strong, bad to the bone dude, which we have huge amounts of. I mean, obviously, they're really, really good friends and know each other for a long time.
And he
The
does
first time I
everything
met him, I had a huge respect for him because he's just one of those guys. But here's the thing is, and this is the pitfall with just focusing on this and not being able to listen, okay, is I'm going to die unless I do that. Well, you may die.
We talked about that.
I mean, we cover all this stuff, and it's like, you're making a choice. Please understand that.
Make the choice. There are times when you want to push that hard,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't be often, and
Shouldn't be
realize
life
there
or
are
death.
consequences
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
doing so.
I mean, I've pushed super hard, and I've hurt myself, and the funny thing is, people will talk about, strength coaches will talk about, until you push to the max that you can't figure out where you can be. Well, there's one guy in particular that I know that's phenomenal, John. He straight out told me as a friend, I have no idea what I can do, because he doesn't have an ego like that. He could care less. And by the way, he doesn't tear cards the way I tear cards, but his ultimate number kills my ultimate number. And that's just being very matter of fact, okay? I do it different, so I can say I'm really, really good too, which I am. But I mean, if he really got like bad to the bone down and serious, because he
John
could care
could basically
less.
beat anyone at anything if he had the
If
gumption
he,
to do so.
yes, I mean,
This is John Brookfield.
This is John Brookfield. Okay, I mean, we're talking about the dude. I mean, it's like he drags a 160-pound chain in a bear crawl 10 miles without stopping. Okay, I mean, come on, man. But the thing about it is, he really digs what we do too. I mean, he really likes what we do. It's a little bit different than what he does, and that's okay. I mean, we're all going to be different, but we all end up getting to the same spot. But
Flaming kettlebell juggling.
Flaming kettlebell juggling. Okay, so this wild man goes, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to juggle a kettlebell, which he does really, really cool, but it's going to be on fire. And I went, I'm thinking, okay, what the hell
When did I first tell you about that?
Wait, I think driving down here is when it was.
Really? That was the first time you ever told me about it before?
You keep secrets from me, man.
I don't keep secrets. I like to tell you things. You talk too much, and I can't get to things before I have to go sometimes.
Well, I have CRS syndrome. A lot of times I can't remember stuff. And so I'm thinking he's going to like put lighter fluid or something on it and light it, and he's going to flip it around. There's going to be little flames and crap like this. So I'm seeing these guys soaking these like thick.
It's called a Kevlar wick.
It's a Kevlar
It's what
wick.
they use for fire dancing. I did some research. Okay, how can I light a kettlebell?
Okay,
on
now
fire?
that's sick right off the bat that you did research on this kind of crap.
Well, you can't.
But it's
just-
really good, but I mean-
you can't just jump into it. Like if I squirt lighter fluid, it's not going to stay on the kettlebell as it's flipping, most likely.
Do you see the quality of education you get with these things? So here comes
You
Logan.
have to be smart if you're going to be stupid.
I think it's got to be tough if you're going to be stupid.
No,
but it's
you have
okay,
to
you
be
gotta
smart to be stupid. Yeah.
Okay, so Logan, turn to the side so they can see your hair. Okay, so I'm seeing this oil put on this thing, and it's like, okay, I can figure out what they're doing. They're going to wrap the kettlebell in this, and I'm going, dude, you're going to be like a torch. And I'm not sure how this is going to work out. Well, he comes back about 10 minutes later, man, and he's dressed up like a quasi-firefighter. And he's like, went down, and they light this thing, and he starts rolling, and it's like, dude, it's not like a big lighter. It's like there is flames off this thing, and it stressed
big
me
ball
out
of fire.
seriously
Stressed you
so
out.
bad. And I wasn't doing it. I was watching my friend do it. That I had my camera on picture instead of video, and I'm like going, "Come on, go!" And I go, "Okay, I got it. I'm watching. Holy crap, he's doing. How's it?" And I couldn't even see the handle because the flames were getting like this long as he was flipping it through. Or are we gonna put it?
I'm sorry. I don't know why this person keeps calling me.
Who is it?
I don't know. Random number.
Oh, I got you.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep
it's
going.
all good.
I'll turn it off.
So it's okay. I don't recognize the person. It was fantastic. I mean, it was really, really, really cool. And the thing was, he was committed to doing a certain movement, which I don't juggle well enough to have vocabulary for it, but it's a very difficult movement.
Over the shoulder flip.
Over the shoulder flip, and he stayed at it, okay, with flesh singeing, shall we say, at times. No, dude, that's not an exaggeration. I mean, I could smell, it was getting hot. And it was like he was having to flip the kettlebell handle over so the flames were going this way so you could turn around and grab it again until he did the whole deal. And can we put a clip of that?
Yeah, that'll probably already be online and most people have
Yeah.
seen it. But
That-
actually,
that was bad in the
we'll
bone,
add
man.
it in here as well.
Yeah.
No one else is gonna do this except me, baby.
Nice. Awesome.
Over the shoulder.
All right.
Nice. Killing it, man.
The coolness factor of that, in my opinion, beat everything else that ever happened.
Thank you.
Bar none.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Even though it's, it wasn't a world record. I mean, it hasn't been
I don't
done
care.
in that fashion ever
Yeah.
since. So in that sense, it is quite out there.
Yes, it's you're making Pluto look like next door. Okay, I mean it's out there a ways, but the coolness factor was there.
So that brings up something you were talking about your stress level while you're doing it. When I'm doing it, I'm decked out and things. I got a bandana on, wetted down so my hair doesn't catch on fire and everything. But I'm doing it in welding gloves, which that makes juggling
Yeah,
the
harder.
kettlebell harder to do. It is pitch black basically outside. We had some lights set up, but then it's a giant flaming ball.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean it's a big flame too.
I can casually, conversation while moving around, be juggling a 16 kilogram kettlebell with no problem and effortlessly do all these moves. It's not so effortless in that fashion right there.
Yeah.
So you were talking about stress level and how that really impacts, things like mobility and
Oh,
injury
yeah.
and pain, all that stuff. You want to go into a little detail on that? I mean, watch this far in the video. Let's give them some context.
Okay, absolutely. Carmen, have you been that patient? Okay, so what happens is when most people work mobility or do their specific skills at ideal stress levels for them. In other words, they're in a comfort zone. I mean, generally speaking. Very rarely do people train at an actual high stress level. Because without sounding like a jerk, what most people perceive as pain, we call discomfort. Okay, it's not really pain. Okay. What he was doing was pain. Now, there's several issues going on here. Now, bear in mind is as your stress level and your threat, or however you want to refer to it, as that level goes up, you tend to not move as well, okay? Because you're
getting constricted.
yeah, you're getting
Tensing up.
constricted. You're starting to move into a startled kind of a position to begin with.
Fight
Now,
or flight.
yeah, you move into fight or flight. Exactly. While you have chosen to do this, it sounds like a really good idea until you light it and it's dark and you're starting to flip it around. Now, the other thing, from a technical perspective, he could not see the handle because the flame was that bright.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can see the little
you,
bit.
you kind of because he's really
I
experienced.
more knew where it was rather than actually seeing
Yeah,
it.
it was more of a feel than a visual thing, right?
I can throw to the point I know how to catch.
Yeah,
it.
he knows how to. I mean, because I can juggle like on a scale of 1 to 10, like about a 4. Okay, but the moves I do, I can do well because I'm familiar with doing them. But I don't do that. I have easier ways to look silly than doing that. But so what he did under stress, if he would have been by himself doing it, not at a certification, and had it lit in front of family and friends, or by himself, and actually by yourself would have probably been less stress. It would have probably been twice as easy. You know, seriously, because
Yeah.
there's a danger factor there that is very difficult to describe.
Well, it's also the time limit factor. At a certain point, the flames do go out
They
themselves,
go out, yeah.
and then if I hadn't done it by then,
You were
that was
toast.
my only chance to do it at the workshop
Exactly.
here. Sure, I could do it another time, but I really wanted
Yeah.
to get it here.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
so there are lots of different levels of stress stacked on each
Oh,
other.
absolutely. Well, okay.
At least 6 different things going on.
And so the very fact that he was able to perform as well as he did is a testament to the training that he does on a daily basis. Okay, and that's what we're trying to convey to you is what we're doing works if you're an athlete under stress. It's there's a whole bunch of competitive lifters that they'll go, oh yeah, I've done this or I've done that. And they're talking about their PRs. What's the best you've ever done in a competition? Oh, I've never done that. Well, then maybe you train a little bit differently. You know, because guess what? We knocked huge numbers off our best times, or jacked up the numbers in a positive way. In other words, improvements were made dramatically by all of the instructors under high stress. Because believe me, when people are paying to come to this and they're looking upon you as like the dude, it's way more stressful than hanging out with your wife and tearing cards or flipping around something in your backyard. Okay, what we do works.
Yeah. Guess what I was doing before I went on to perform that? The same drills I taught here, or variations of them
Absolutely.
in a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we practice what we preach. This isn't a joke. I mean, this is us. This is our life. This is what we do. And we share this with you.
I think we're about done.
I think we're good.
Any final comments? Okay, so this
I'm halfway
video,
done. But it's okay.
this video is probably about an hour long or so, probably even longer. What this video I'm thinking right now, this will actually sort of be the sales video.
I'm thinking it may not be a bad idea.
Well, yeah, so there will be details down below. You can order the DVDs. Really, I truly believe there isn't anything like that. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't truly believe. I know
Yes.
there is nothing like this out there you will find anywhere.
Or none.
At best, I mean, you can find certain pieces in different areas. You'd have to search far and wide to even come close, and that's if you knew where to look to just even try to get this stuff all
Yeah.
together. And in doing that, you would spend a lot more time and actually a lot more money just
A lot
even
more
trying
money.
to do that. Yeah.
So you have to filter through a bunch of garbage, by the way, because we've all went through a lot of these training.
we're bringing you the best of the best.
Yeah.
And like we said, multiple different people bringing you what they've done that really has helped them, what you can do. And I look forward to applying what I learned from Chuck, what I learned from Garen, what I learned from Bud, to bring myself up even more. And when I do that with my own skills, it's going to, bring me to another level. Same for all the guys here.
I absolutely agreed, except for that Chuck guy. But the Logan guy, I'm going to learn from him, Garen, and Bud. And what's cool about this? it's as exciting for us as it is for you, but better in a way because this shapes what we do next.
Mm-hmm.
Because we really are, I don't know if I like to call myself a guinea pig. We experiment upon ourselves.
Yeah, we have, and I mean, the choice is yours, but really, I hope you do come and join us, join this wonderful world of the elite possibilities.
Yes, yes. And it'll definitely be a paradigm shift for you because you will start believing.
It'll be more than one.
Yeah, exactly. It will, what you think is possible right now, that's not that big of a deal. There's a much bigger world out there that you really can do if you just think you can and you have a few things that we teach you.
Yeah, the ultimate tools for achieving that success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.